What is up? Welcome back to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by AP. And AP, had some good results when you were on the show last time this week. Did cross into the screenshot threshold, only a 3-digit win, but able to 10 times my money with the lineup that we made and the core that we used on this show. So I'm looking forward to getting back at it. Now, of course, that was a showdown last week. We got 2 games tonight, so we'll definitely be getting into that. And you know what? We're going to give them a bonus. We're going to preview tomorrow. And maybe to start off, to kind of preview tomorrow, what have you seen in the Celtics and the Bucks and the Grizzlies and the Warriors so far?
Oh, man. So tomorrow's games, the Bucks and Warriors, I think. I mean, if we're diving into those 2 games, I think the Warriors get 2 wins here at home. I think they literally had that second game, and they're down at the stretch. Calls didn't go their way. Ja was really good. I just think, man, I don't think that the Grizzlies really stand a chance in this series. So I like the Warriors to pick up 2 games at home, and I don't know. I think I could see them getting it done here, like in 5, 6 games. I don't think it's going to go 7. The Bucks Celtics, that is definitely the more interesting matchup in my opinion, because it's like we've it's 1-1, right? And I like the Bucks in this last game. The problem is Celtics, they showed up, man. They look good defensively. They were excellent. Giannis has been bad, in my opinion, in both games. So we have yet to see like a monster Giannis game. It's coming. I think it's coming. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to absolutely put one on Grant Williams, who's been an excellent defender, absolutely excellent defender. But I love Giannis tomorrow. I love the Bucks. -2 looks like a really good line right there if we're diving into that game. So tomorrow I got both the favorites. I got the Dubs -7. I think they win by double digits over the Grizzlies. I think it's I think Draymond sitting on the bench midway in the fourth. I think they handle them, and I think they make a statement. Everything with Gary Payton and that whole ordeal. I think the Dubs come out and make an absolute statement, and win by 15 plus. And then I think the Bucks also make a statement. I think they win big too. Double digit win for the Bucks is how I see it tomorrow.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, hopefully Tyler will get on here and give us a little bit of pushback, because we are in lockstep here. I love Milwaukee tomorrow, and I thought the line was a little high, but I realized it correlated to exactly where it was beforehand. But it still didn't make sense because it's not in line with regular season numbers at all. So books obviously giving the Warriors championship experience a lot of respect here. I got a 6.5. I see that you got the 7 there on your book, but yeah, I don't. When you're just talking straight up, I don't think the Warriors lose at Chase. So it's going to be 5 or 6.
I would even look at some alternate lines there too. Just to see if you can get a good number on some of those. But yeah, I think it's going to be a big win, and Boston was just incredible. Like that first quarter. Like I remember I had it DVRing. I was picking up my daughter from dance, but I was still listening to on NBA radio, and it was just like a 15-point lead, like right out of the gate, then a 20-point lead. I mean, it was just insane. No one could miss a shot on the Boston side there. So I think Giannis is just he's gonna have a monster game tomorrow. So I think they make a statement. I think it's going to be a fun series too. Like I still like the Bucks in the series. I still think the champs get it done, but man, I think it could go 7. I think this is going to be a really entertaining series.
All right, and there's some guy in the chat named Big T. He says Boston's going to own Milwaukee. Boston will win the series in 5. All right, and my guy Kyle's here, so he won't get fined. All right, Big T, if you want a link, let me know. You can come on and let us know.
Yeah, let's get on.
AP and you. I'll send it regardless. If you can't come on, it's not a big deal. But so on that Tuesday game, right? I was like, okay, because I'm in the house most of the day. I said, I got to get some sunshine before the game. So I go on a walk, right? And there's this little cool area in my neighborhood that's, it was supposed to be swamplands, but it's just all dried out now. But you can hike around in there. And I'm listening to Big T and those guys on the final countdown, and I thought it was a 4:30 start. And they go, yeah, well, we're going to find out the ownership in 5 minutes. And I said, oh, we got 5 minutes. So I jumped in, jammed Derek White in my lineup. Didn't work out, but that was a lot of fun there. And so I'll be interested to see why he thinks that Boston does so well here. If he's able to make it, he could just be out running around with the kids and all that good stuff around the golf course. You never know. With Big T. So
I think just from listening to past shows, it's just from a matchup standpoint, Tatum's been excellent. But then defensively, they're just, Boston is just really tough. So the best thing about it, though, is I don't really have a dog in the fight. Like if Big T's right, it's good. Then I can just give Titletown shit. So it's kind of a win-win for me. My big stance, which is also, I think Big T's against it too. It's the Warriors. So I got some future bets: Warriors against Suns, against Title, and a few others. So Warriors has kind of been the team that, while I would love to see the Mavericks get there. I just can't see that happening at all. It really sets up to be a Warriors Suns final in the Western Conference, and it's going to be an awesome series for sure.
Yeah. Going back to that Celtics Bucks, just so I can reinforce why I'm on my side, and of course, members of RunPureSports.com, promo code GetBets. Watching the final countdown will know why Big T's on the Celtics, but this has been the make or miss series, right? And if you look, I follow an account that tracks shot quality, right? They said the shot quality was actually even in the last game. Jaylen Brown, so I got home, able to catch up because I just record them on always just in case. So Jaylen Brown was just making shots. The ball, hand in his face. I mean, those were tough shots to make. So if he keeps making those, I'll take that out. At the same time, it seemed like Giannis was a little bit bothered by the physicality of Grant Williams. I think that he adjusts so quickly. That's one thing that he's shown, like a true NBA great, like a true NBA elite player, like an MVP. He can make adjustments. So I don't think the physicality is going to bother him. I also think he's going to get a little friendlier whistle too at home. Some of those plays where Grant Williams was getting stops, they might be getting him to the line, slowing the game down, things of that nature. Of course, I expect the Bucks role players to explode tomorrow night as well. Way bigger game coming from our guys, Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen, guys like that. Maybe a little Bobby Portis, who didn't have a very good game too as well. So we'll definitely be opposite on that one. And I know he's on I know he was on the Grizzlies for game 2, but I don't know if that was a series thing or was that a home court thing, because I'm with you, man. I think this Warriors team is so much better at home than on the road. And even during the regular season, that was one of our main handicaps, right? Warriors at home, bet them. Warriors on the road, fade them. So this team really feeds off the energy of the Chase Center. And I know that, Northern California, they get the bad techie vibe, right? Nobody cares. All a bunch of, rich kids making $500K a year. But that place gets rocking. That place gets wild. It still has some of the old Oakland roots of the old Oracle where they first won those titles, right? Some of those fans still coming in, getting wild. So I think that's a real fun place to play. I expect the Warriors to take advantage of it. Yeah, so he's with us on Golden State. So that was just a game 2.
There we go.
Just a game 2 bet.
Tyler, I gotta take multiple L's though, because I've been my takes for the playoffs have not been good outside of the Warriors, and that's just not saying very much. So yeah, I need a couple of wins.
We're gonna get them tonight, and we did good on the show on Wednesday. I told you Wednesday was Chalk City. It was Chalk City for sure. And let's jump into those tonight. So could be a little different game tonight here, though, right? One of the things I said was without Joel Embiid on Wednesday night in Miami, where I didn't think the Philadelphia role players were going to show up. I didn't think they were going to perform. There's no Embiid. It's just too easy for Miami. They get out early. It was an easy cover. I mean, if I didn't win that bet, I would have felt like it was a bad beat. I was on the wrong side because they were controlling everything for the whole game. Now, Joel Embiid's gone from out to questionable, which they need to change that. I understand they've been doing it all year, but you're at least doubtful.
He's going to play.
Yeah. So he went from out to questionable on the thing today. Tyler, the Geek Squad just left his house. He's ready to go. What's up, bud? You here?
Yeah, it was almost a laptop down, but I'm here.
All right. Well, we're good to have you. And we right now are diving in to the Heat and the Sixers, and we'll get some of your thoughts on the Saturday games at the end of the show.
Tyler, that would take me back to the poker days. I definitely broke a few laptops back then.
all it was Google.
When I was like 21.
Google updated everything, so it logged me out of everything. So when I got to StreamYard, it just wouldn't connect the mic and camera. I had to get out of everything and reset the whole computer. Fucking.
My best story was I can't remember how much I lost, but was grinding online poker pretty hard back in those days. Went through a really rough stretch one evening, broke the laptop like a donkey, show up at Best Buy the next day and buy a new one. Didn't break that one though, so we were good.
You're on mute, Spread.
Sorry, I was having a little bit of audio problems there. I think I'm back. But Tyler, what are your thoughts on the Heat and the Sixers?
Yeah, I think the Heat have the series finished up. I mean, if Embiid plays, he's not going to be even close to 100%. What they're really going to do, just kind of let him do his thing down there, or they go right at him and attack him and try and hit him in the face and cause him problems. So I don't see Philly's path to winning it. I think Miami's pretty much got the series. Maybe Philly sneaks out one win and they beat them 4-1, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them go up 3-0 tonight.
All right. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
So, all right, I was missing some of that. I switched over to the headphones.
Yeah, I got like all right. So I see Big T in the chat. I'm with him 100%. I think Embiid plays tonight, and I think Philly definitely gets this win tonight. Embiid, even if he's not 100%, he does so much. He's going to demand so much attention. It makes Philadelphia a much more dangerous team, even if he's not 100%. You're going to see more from Tobias. You're going to see more from Maxey, and get Harden maybe working off ball a little bit. You're going to see a lot of pressure off of those guys. Korkmaz then also maybe could be a difference maker, another guy that can hit shots. He's been playing he's been lighting it up. He's just not getting the time on the court, but they need scoring. They need guys to help stretch out the court a little bit. Embiid's going to do that. And so I really like Philly tonight. Are they still getting a 1.5? You guys know?
Looks like. Hey, can you guys hear me? Because I switched. I got plus 1.5 on Bookmaker right now.
Yeah, I love that number. I think, and get it now, because I mean, do you think this line assumes that Embiid's playing or not?
Yeah, because it was -3 this morning, so it already moved a 1.5. I mean, it probably moves to pick, but I don't think they're too worried about moving from a 1.5 to pick. I don't think that's like moving from 6 to 7.5. Just like football, once it gets close to pick, they're real liberal about moving on those numbers. So, probably just a little bit of a hesitancy because, right, let's say you can grab Miami right now -1.5, and then he's ruled out. I mean, you'd feel pretty good about that. But boy, I think the one thing that I don't know, because my headphones were messing up. I don't know if you mentioned one of the big things about Embiid being back is no DeAndre Jordan minutes. You're not just spotting them a 10-point lead, right? It's like, if I went to play basketball against Tyler, and Tyler says, "Hey, I'm so good, I'll spot you a 10-point lead before we start." Felt like that's what the DeAndre Jordan minutes were like tonight. So sounds like if Embiid's in, you guys both like the Sixers here. I think it'll be really interesting. I hope he plays for the sake of an NBA fan and having not been involved in this game. And I definitely wanted to talk to you guys before I got involved. Tyler, let's talk about this total of 209, and then let's talk about how these lineups look.
Yeah, I'd probably lean under. I mean, I see 210 on FanDuel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just think the defense will be there tonight. If Embiid does play, I mean, maybe they shoot some more free throws on the Philly side, and they do put up some more points, but I think it'll still stay under that 210.
All right. Any thoughts on the total, AP?
Yeah, I mean, betting a total in the NBA that low is always worrisome for me. I would slightly lean to the overs just because I don't know, 210, kind of a low number there. But I guess if Kyle Lowry plays, that would be a bump necessarily, or a little bit of a bump for me to the under. He's just a slower player. Doesn't really, like to do much offensively. If we got more like Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo, two guys that are going to push the pace and actually, look to score some buckets. So really depends on Kyle Lowry. I think maybe it would push me in one direction or the other. But definitely feel far more comfortable about the Philly side of this game. I mean, Embiid has to play. Like, if you're going, like, he's out of the concussion protocol, so that's not an issue. And the worry is like if he gets hit in the face or something like that. But still, half of Embiid in there, or just get him in there, be cautious with them, whatever. I think it just. Man, it's going to relieve so much pressure off of these other guys for Philly. So I think it's going to be a huge difference maker for them tonight.
I can't wait to hear how you break this down. So Embiid is back at 10-4. I mean, is that the contrarian play? Because I don't want to roster him, right? At 10-4?
That's the tough part because, like, I guess, at first glance for me, I'm really going to be interested to see what the guys on the Up to Lock show have to say. They've been spot on. And, I mean, really, they've been really spot on and good all series. How I see it going down is, like, I think it helps, like, Tobias and Harden and some of these other guys. So I think he's almost in there as kind of a distraction type piece, unless he's like a full go, which – I don't know. If your eye socket or whatever is broken, orbital fracture.
Conley said it was really hard to play with.
I'm going to be cautious if I'm in there. But defensively, everyone from Miami is going to be looking at him. Like they don't want Embiid to go off. So I almost like some of these other guys a little bit more with Embiid back in. That's kind of how I see it on the surface.
Let's talk about the value real quick. Oladipo at 4,800 has. I mean, I didn't know the rotations exactly, but it feels like he's taking Duncan Robinson's slot in the rotation here. And I don't think that's permanent. People are like, oh, they're going to trade him in the offseason. No, I think it's specific to this matchup because especially in those first two games, I feel like their only worry was Harden. So they said, why are we going to give you guys that easy one? We can score anyways. We're going to be able to stop you. We're not going to let you just pick on Robinson and Hero, right? So we're gonna make this a lot easier. So while I'm not reading so much into it, like everyone making fake trades to bring Duncan Robinson to their favorite team, just because he's out of the rotation this series, it definitely has to be taken into account. How are you looking at this Heat value over here, or do we go with the home value players? Something that Mangone said on Tuesday was, "Hey, when I'm looking for value, I want to grab guys at home." What do you think, AP?
Yeah, I mean, these 3 and no D guys are like worthless in the playoffs. We see it time and time again compared to your 3 and D guys. Like it's just a no-brainer. Look at the Suns, look at the Mavs with Dorian Finney-Smith. I mean, really good examples of 3 and D guys. It's just, Duncan Robinson is just your regular season type of dude to get minutes. So yeah, you definitely can't play him here. I think it's a hot hand approach, to be honest. I've been playing Victor Oladipo. Obviously, got the start with Kyle Lowry out, I believe, last couple games. So it was an easy play. But
why are they listing their whole team questionable?
Man, doing the heat map and playbooks the last few Heat games has been really annoying. I mean, come on, PJ Tucker, he's playing. Max Struss, he's playing. Tyler Hero, playing. Gabe Vincent, playing. Caleb Martin, playing. Kyle Lowry is the one true questionable guy, but this is the first time he's actually been questionable. So, it seems likely. I think all of these guys could play tonight. I mean, if you're Miami and Embiid is back, you want everyone out there playing. You don't want them to steal a win and get some momentum. So you got to think that these guys play. And I think, so what I'm looking at closely is Oladipo going to be chalk? If he's chalk, I think there's a lot of risk in this game. I think he could run to Max Struss, to Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. They got Tyler Hero. They got a lot of dudes that could work in there. And then you have a game manager type in Kyle Lowry, and then you have another high usage guy in Jimmy Butler. So I think Oladipo is way riskier, assuming Kyle Lowry's back tonight.
If Kyle Lowry's back, do I take all these guys out of my player pool? How do you approach that?
PJ Tucker's the one guy I keep playing. You understand? I think it was Big T or Jay, as you said it best. You understand what you're getting from him. You're getting 30-plus minutes every game. He's starting to hit that corner 3, and you take it. You know what you're going to get from him, and it's playoff time. He tries way harder. The peripheral stats go up a little bit. So I think he's the one value you can play here.
But let's look at this guard rotation right now, right? So Strus up to 5'3", Gabe Vincent up to 5'1", Oladipo at 4'8", Kyle Lowry's at 6'1". I mean, if he plays it, he just made all those guys unattractive to me. But my worry is that I'm overreacting. What do you think?
Sorry, I had a
I'm
message.
basically just
What was
saying
the
I
question?
want to take all the Heat guards out at these prices.
Yeah,
if Lowry plays.
so like here's what I'm doing kind of in the optimizers. I'm just under projecting the ones that I'm not very high on. And someone like PJ Tucker, I'm giving a fair projection. I would rather kind of give like a Jimmy Butler type that fair projection. So a lot of these slates, especially this Heat, Philly, Suns, Mavericks, these slates have been tough and they've been kind of a raw points type of slate, which makes it tougher to play some of these studs at times because like guys in the mid-tier range have done enough to be in those optimal lineups.
Here's my last hot take on the Heat game, and then we're gonna get Tyler's breakdown, get the props, and also get his opinion on everything we just discussed. But my last hot take is if I'm really searching for value because I spent up and I'm going to the Heat, I'm not taking any of these guards or forwards. I'm taking a guy like Dwayne Dedmon because my idea is he's going to be so much more necessary tonight. And I know he got like 3 fouls in 30 seconds in one of those games, right?
I like that call.
But it's just he's 3K. He seems like he could be necessary. And of course, I'm telling you, this is like a complete punt. I'm not building a lineup around Dwayne Dedmon. But if it, gets me up to some guys as we're talking through these spend ups a little later, I think I'm looking at more of the Heat big men. Maybe you're at 7's the guy that you decide instead, right? But, I think I would look to the Miami big men more for like these pure Hail Marys. Tyler, we talked about a lot. Let's get your thoughts on all of them. The first one, Embiid's at 10-4. You don't need necessarily, do a full DFS breakdown, but what do you expect from him tonight if he's back in the game?
I mean, I still think he's going to be banged up. He's definitely not going to be 100%. I wouldn't play him at that price tag because, Bam's still a good matchup. They're going to double him. They're going to beat him up down low. So I'm going to stay away from him. And I'm going to stay away from his props too. Do you really want to bet an Embiid under 25.5 points and he does show up and shoot like 15 to 20 free throws to where he puts you over that number? So I'm going to stay away from his props. They dropped Bam's rebounding number down to 8.5 with this Embiid news. I would play the over on that. And, of course, just go back to the under on James Harden's PRA. The dude's just not putting up stats against this team.
Yeah, like I said, they've said, hey, we'll sacrifice some offense to take Harden out of the game. How are you looking at this mid-range with these guards? Do you agree with me, or do you think that I'm missing some value if I just cross all the Miami guards off the slate if Kyle Lowry plays?
If Kyle Lowry plays, it's also how many minutes is he going to play? We'll probably be on a minutes restriction. Because it's a hammy injury.
But doesn't that now I've got all these guys at 5K, they're going to get between like 20 and 30 minutes?
Yeah, but there was 2 games. Like, where are you going to pull value from again? You can only pivot so many other ways.
Yeah.
But, I kind of like Caleb Martin in this spot. Okay. Double-digit fantasy points his last 3 games. Mm-hmm. His last 4 matchups against Philly, double-digit fantasy points. And he played 21 minutes and 13 in the last 2 games. If Lowry's out, he's going to get right around there again, and he could produce.
All right. What other player props did you like for this game, Tyler?
That was pretty much it.
Okay.
I touched on them already.
Anything more on this game, or do we want to get to our evening matchup?
Just kind of playing off what Tyler said, I have interest in Bam. Like I could, if Embiid's in there, it would make sense to attack him and do it with Bam. And then do it with I'm definitely going to include Dwayne Dedmon in my MME pools tonight. I like that call as kind of a punt value. I'm only playing Dedmon in lineups where I want a couple studs though. So like Luka, like if you're trying to get Luka in your lineup tonight, like a lot of people are going to play him. Mm-hmm. But if you're trying to get multiple studs, it's going to be hard and to get Luka. So the way to do it is you need a guy like a true punt value like Dwayne Dedmon to get you like 15 or 16. That could potentially unlock Luka, but then you need a big game out of Luka too. So, I'm going to look at some rules, I think, with those Luka builds for sure.
Well, thank you for providing me with the perfect segue into the next game.
Because
my question is Luka playing for you, AP, and the rest of the Run Pure Sports team when you guys put him in the lineup, or is he playing to win? He had 50% usage in the first quarter of the last game. 50% usage, which is fine if you're Giannis or you're Steph Curry and you're training like an Iron Man and you can run for 2 games straight. Luka's not that guy. Luka's not that guy. Luka was dead exhausted at the end of the game, and I know he get 35 and 12, and if you put him in your lineup, you're great, and everyone's going to say, oh, he's the greatest player, da-da-da-da. But when the other team's pointing at you every single time and saying, I want to work against him, and they're scoring time after time, Chris Paul was like, 7 of 8 in the fourth quarter working against Luka. It's just too easy. And he's got to get these other guys involved. Everyone says, oh, well, Luka needs help. Well, he needs to accept help. If I'm a homeless person and you say, here, go get a hotel room and I don't take your money, okay, that's what I feel like Luka's doing with Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie. He's not allowing them to get involved. He demands the ball every single time, and he's wearing himself into the ground. And these guys, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, are loving it. They're saying, go ahead. Break the slate in the first half. Make everybody at Run Pure Sports happy because, we all spend up for them. And then let us go ahead and get the win because you're dog tired and you can't do anything on defense. So I like Phoenix tonight. I'm much stronger on this game because I don't know if Jason Kidd and Luka see this yet. This was an issue with Jordan for those of us who are old enough. We're not just going off all these documentaries about Jordan starting 89. They don't talk about 83 to 89, where he was doing the same exact thing, wearing himself into shreds, not trusting his teammates. And he credits Phil Jackson for saying, hey, I got to start trusting these guys. I got to get these guys going early. I'll take over the game late. Luka's taking over the game too early. So, hey, if he turns it around, and this is easy, it's not like I'm the only person saying that. Any radio station, any podcast you turn on is going to say the same thing because we all saw an exhausted guy get hunted by a 37-year-old. So maybe he turns it around right away tonight, but I'll believe it when I see it, and I'm going to go right now against the trend. I'm not betting that the streak stops. I'm betting with the streak, and that's they're just going to continue to manipulate this matchup. I like Phoenix tonight. What are your thoughts on this, AP?
Yeah, I mean, that line just looked like, man, it looks like Vegas is just like throwing out the line, trying to suck you in to get you to, because like if you're just like your average person out there, you're like, man, Luka Doncic, the Mavericks at home now, they have to get one win. Mm-hmm. The problem is they've lost, 11 in a row to the Suns. So like we got a couple problems here. One, I think the Suns just have their number, unfortunately, for our guy Glock. I'm also kind of a little, Mavs homer myself at times. I just like Luka. I like his game. But, man, it's like the Suns have his number. They have the Mavericks number. And the other thing, kind of, to play off what you were saying, this Suns team has gotten stronger as the game goes on. Whereas the Mavs have been the exact opposite, except for, I guess, in that game one late in the fourth quarter. They had a nice little comeback there. But, man, they're attacking Luka. They're making it really tough on him. So, like, I went back and I rewatched part of game two. And then I was also kind of looking back at what the Bucks did in the last year in the finals. I mean, I think the only chance the Mavericks have, you take away Booker, you take away Paul. You got to take away those two guys, kind of like the Bucks did. Clamp down on them. Don't let those guys beat you. Make everyone else beat you. Make Mikal Bridges beat you. Make Crowder beat you. Make Cam Johnson beat you. You constantly throw Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock at them, have them fight through screens, whatever. Don't leave Luka on an island against Chris Paul. Like, that's just an absolute disaster.
Because they just allowed the soft switch. I can't remember which podcast I listened to, but it was one of the ones where they go through the X's and O's a little more. And they're like, you have to pressure Paul. You can't just give them the soft switch, like where he just points to the guy or whatever and gets it 16 seconds in the shot clock,
Yeah. The other problem is like Chris Paul is just so smart to where like the Bucks, they have the physicality to just bully him and beat him up. I'm not really seeing that with this Mavericks team. They don't really have anyone that could do that. They have good dudes that can guard the perimeter, but that's about it. So if they do that, if they try to take away Chris Paul, like if the coaching staff is seeing kind of what I'm seeing, which would make sense, has to be like an Ayton game. So if we're playing on it,
an Ayton game last time. He only played 15 minutes. That's something.
Yeah, it should be an Ayton game in every single game of this series because there's not a guy 6'9" or taller to guard him.
So what happened there, right? So he gets 3 fouls in the first, but then it was like he didn't come into 4 minutes to go.
I think it's just, other coach is sharp and he knew it really didn't matter. Keep them rested. Like the game was, the game was in hand.
I thought it was because rather than switching on to Ayton, they were switching on to Biyombo, and Biyombo was
got
playing
Biyombo,
it pretty
yeah.
well. He
Yeah, I
was
was about
playing
to
it
say,
pretty well. He's a little
both
quicker.
the backup centers, even though JaVale McGee did get into foul trouble too, but those two combined put up 15 points, 5 rebounds, and they shot 7 for 7 from the field. So with your main guy in foul trouble and those two guys playing well, they kind of just were like,
But
not
yeah.
your night tonight, young guy.
So, like, but the case to go back to a guy like DeAndre Ayton is a simple one. We're in Dallas. We got to assume the game's going to be closer. I mean, the game has been good through 3 quarters in both games. It's been one quarter where the
one guy wears out.
We point God. Last game it was Devin Booker in game 1. Tonight, game 3, you got to think it's going to be DeAndre Ayton if we like the Suns to win. Because I do think that, like, if you're the Mavs, like, you got to just, like, take away Booker, take away Paul. Like, take those guys away, whatever it takes.
Can they, though?
I mean, I don't know. It's tough to do.
Let me throw another.
Booker was beating
another
Bullock
wrinkle
pretty
into
easily
this
when
for
they
you.
were going in. Go ahead, Tyler.
I know we think it's going to be an 8-1. What's CP3's birthday? And we know how he likes to play in primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
He might go out there and just be like, give me the ball. Everyone out the way. I'm putting up 30 and 12 tonight.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
There's another good one. It's tough for me.
And there's no Scott Foster tonight in that Phoenix game. I looked at the refs.
Yeah. My guy Robert sent that to me this morning. Thank you, Robert. So Ayton, man, we were all over Ayton on Wednesday on the show, right, Tyler? We bet his props. We put him in our lineup that we built, right? It's so hard to go back to him after that game too. But I'm feeling pretty amateur here. Talk to me, AP. How do you deal with this? Where there's a guy you love, he completely busted the slate before, but the specifics or the matchup is still the same here. How do you approach this? Like, how could you talk me into pressing submit here and putting Ayton into this lineup?
I mean, it's a thing. Understand that, a lot of people are going to be hurt from what happened there in game 2. You got to erase it from your memory, unless it's just truly a bad play, which I don't think Ayton in the spot is a bad play at all. I think if you kind of assume if you factor in what adjustments the coaches are going to try to make, and if you're coaching the Mavs, it would be we can't let CP and Devin Booker continue to beat us because they have been, and maybe it's like what Tyler said. It doesn't even matter what they do; these dudes are going to beat them. I think that could be the case too, but going off what you think the adjustment might be, it's take those guys away or try to, which means DeAndre Ayton here could I'm going to go right back to him.
Okay, that's all I need to hear.
I was on him through that game. If he burns me, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me type of deal.
So we talked earlier, and Travis really said this on my show and, of course, on his morning show as well. If you're not watching that, make sure you're subscribed to the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. He goes on at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, breaking down the slate. He even did some hockey yesterday, right? So a man of the people, a real diverse show. But we're talking about targeting role players at home, looking at these Dallas guys. We got to get value somewhere, right? We like Ayton. We like Luka. We like some of these other studs. We got to figure out a way to get them here. Who are some guys on Dallas here that you think could be in line for a big night, AP?
Yeah, I mean that's the tough part because Luka just demands so much usage when he's in there, and I feel like you guys nailed it. Like he's just trying to do too much, early on. So like the adjustment would be, or I mean the way you go about playing this is like Jalen Brunson won. He needs to have a better game, take some pressure off Luka. He's 6'4". Like that price tag, in my opinion, is pretty attractive right there. Spencer Dinwiddie's been just a disaster. Like they need to figure out what they're going to do. They need to figure out like how to get him involved to take some pressure off of Luka. And then they need their guys. They need Reggie Bullock to hit shots, but he's 5'4". So I mean, really tougher to play him. They need Dorian Finney-Smith to stay out of foul trouble. I think he was in foul trouble most of last game. And then you're going to get, Davis Bertans coming off the bench, hitting a couple shots, and then Maxi Kleber too in that same type of role. So Dallas is really tough. It's like I like Brunson here. Luka, you need a big game out of him. I think if I'm like playing Ayton and assuming the game stays close, you got to think Luka has a big game. So I could play Ayton and Luka if I want to go that route. or I could play Brunson and Ayton. So 2 guys, obviously that are in play. And then I don't know. I mean, there's crazier plays out there than Davis Bertans. They need someone to hit shots, and they need he needs to come out and hit those deep threes and just start stroking them from deep. The problem is he's an absolute liability defensively. The dude is just atrocious out there. So if he's not hitting those shots, they're going to pull him real fast. So that is the huge risk with a guy like Bertans.
The team has loved campaign these playoffs. He's only 3,500. We just throw him back
Robert. Yeah, I mean the other thing too is DFS was in constant foul trouble, so they needed someone else out there. He said and so this is like the thing that's tough with these Luka builds, which my main lineup I could see me not being on a guy like Luka and targeting more of these upper mid tier guys is because you're going to need a 70 piece out of him because these punt values like Bertans and Dedmon, they're rough plays, really rough, risky plays.
Tyler, what props do you have for this game?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this one, just to touch on some DFS though, I mean, I think the value guys, the only guy I would play on Dallas outside of Luka would be one of the shooting bigs because, yeah, we've tried to get back on 8 in these last couple of games, but that's their way they're countering him is they're putting a shooting big out there and trying to drag him 30 feet from the hoop with like a max.
Tyler, not trying to interrupt you, but according to our boy Bogarts, I don't know if he's watching or not, but I know he's in the Discord chat probably right now just having a stroke fest to DeAndre Ayton. Shouldn't be a problem if you have a big. He's a generational talent. He can stretch, he's a stretch forward. He can get out there to perimeter.
Get thrown around
I have no idea. I have no idea, but every day it's a stroke fest. It's DeAndre Ayton just constantly.
Generational. We should have a whole generational tab in the Discord where we can just discuss generational.
Create a room, generational players.
Generational room where we only discuss generational players. All right, Tyler, go back ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some of these, I mean, AP did touch on a good point. I mean, the dude can't close out to the 3 line and get back to the hoop and do everything. Like he's just not. It's impossible. So that's something to keep an eye on for DFS wise, I think. With these props, I mean, Booker at 26.5 on his points prop. He shot bad from 3 in the first game. He woke up from 3 in the second half of game 2. I expect him to shoot the ball well again, so I like his over. I like Dinwiddie's over 11.5 points because he has to shoot the ball better if his team wants any chance. Back home, I think he hits a few more threes. And then, I mean, I want to go back to Devin Booker over 4.5 rebounds, but he's hooked me on the last 3 props I bet of him, especially his rebounds, so got a little PTSD there. And then, of course, you could just always go to his threes over 2.5 minus 115.
All right. And this is we have to do it because it's every single night. Booker or Paul? Booker's 8,500. CP3's 83. What do you think, Tyler?
Why not both?
Because I want to get Luka in there and I can't get all 3.
I think you throw Luka out for this game and you put them 2 in.
Hot take. All right.
Because everyone and their mother is going to be on Luka tonight. God forbid the Suns just dice them up from start to finish. And towards the fourth quarter, they're like, you're done. Like, we're down 30. Go sit down.
I mean, that's a way to get different. What do you think, AP? Booker or Chris Paul?
Yeah, I mean, so one thing that you should do is play around with the optimizer and run a few builds to see kind of what number Luka needs to hit to get him into your lineup. So that's going to be one of the first things I need to do.
So are you okay taking him out too and running that more mid-tier build?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, that build has been just been crushing. If you're talking optimal, now you need to hit all the other pieces, of course. But
it's a lot easier when you have the extra money because you don't have to do Dwayne Dedmon.
Right. But if I don't know. I think the Heat Philly game is the one that definitely stays a little bit more competitive here. So I think you're going to need pieces from both games, and I like the pricing on the Sun side. And so I mean. So I do like Chris Paul and Booker were both in the optimal last time these teams played too. Yeah. So I lean Chris Paul.
Was he?
Yeah, he had a really bad second half in that game. I think he had 40 DK points at halftime, and we were all.
He looked like me on the last mile of my 15-mile hikes where I'm just.
Oh yeah.
How much longer?
He looked like me 5 minutes into my game with Pooh back at Big T's a couple years ago.
All right.
That was brutal to watch.
So, Tyler, are you with me here on the Suns? Because it sounds like you got a lot of Suns blowout scripts here.
Yeah, I love them in these spots. Game threes, they knock the spread the other way because now they're away, and now you get a nice price on them. I just don't think Dallas has anything for them. Like, Dallas is a good team. I just think they're in a bad matchup. Like, I think if you flip-flop the two Western matchups right now, you'd have way better series. I think if Memphis was playing the Suns, you have two teams that can contend with size and defense. They would go right at each other. And Dallas and Golden State would just be a slugfest of...
Because it wouldn't matter that neither team has a center.
Exactly. So both teams are small, and they could just go into their small ball game. But we didn't get those matchups, so we got to deal with what we're dealt.
Do you think Luka's ever going to develop into that? Like I love his talent. I love everything about his game. I think he's fun to watch. But the problem when you're playing with them is like they just, it's all him. It's what it seems like right now.
A lot of great players did that though. At that age.
You think? Yeah.
Here's the kicker spread. Like he was playing off ball in the Euro League, and then he shows up in the NBA, and they're like, "Here's the ball.
Yeah.
Like this is yours now. Like you're not playing off ball. Like how easy is it going to be to go take that ball away from him, and now you got to go run around screens?"
Just like with Jordan, it's going to take year after year of losing in the playoffs, and your name's not up there with the top guys because Giannis is out here winning titles, and you're still getting knocked out in the second round, getting 45, 12, and 8, and we're like, whoop-de-doo, like you got 70 fantasy points for me. But now in this next round, I'm going to watch the Suns versus the Bucks.
Who I do remember that now, like in the Olympics. Who was one of those key guys on his team? Like they were putting up big numbers because I remember those Olympic slates and like looking at it. It wasn't like Satoransky, was it? Maybe. Where's he from?
Rubio's on.
Has to be.
No. Serbia. Bogdan Bogdanovic is on that team.
Bogdanovic. Okay.
On the Olympic team. I thought I was getting mixed up with the Real Madrid team. They have Bogdanovic and they had one other big man. Maybe it was Boban. I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah, just this like ISO game where it's like Brunson and it reminds me kind of the Celtics before, like the Celtics at the start of the season and last season when it was like Jaylen Brown and Tatum. It was just my turn, your turn type of thing. Yeah. And now the Celtics are playing team ball, like playing incredible, getting everyone involved. Grant Williams out there just hitting clutch shots and stuff. So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's too late in the season to try to find a different identity, but they got to do something with Dinwiddie, and Bronson needs to have a better game. And then Bullock and Finney-Smith, they need to hit their threes. And, and they got to, bank on the Suns not shooting, 65%? Isn't that what they shot last game? Like, insane.
All right, well, I want another Friday winner here, AP, so help me build this. So wasn't sure what to do because I had DeAndre Ayton in here with Chris Paul.
I'm still tilted from that. We had the absolute nuts just pegged with that showdown slate, and wife's birthday. I forget to enter all my stuff, and oh man, it would have been an easy night. The members all crushed though, so you love.
Yeah, I had a nice night too. So, but I want another one. So, what's going to be the first guy that we're going to put in here tonight? I just X Luka out. I can put him back in, but boy, you guys made some good arguments that, hey, I'm going to leave too much on the table if I build around him.
This is tough. You want to go to Tyler first?
Tyler, give us a first piece.
Give me Chris Paul.
Okay. I already got him in there. So he's sitting there at my guard spot, 8,300. Can I play? So the two values that I'm looking at, and it's because I had success with them before, Maxi Kleber and Campaign. Which one do you like more out of those two, AP?
I mean, those two, I would say Campaign, but let's go PJ Tucker. I'd take PJ Tucker over those guys.
PJ Tucker action. Interesting. Okay. So you think you're going to be raining from threes with PJ?
I think Philly's going to win the game, which means the game's going to be more competitive. And I think we're going to see more PJ Tucker. So I think he gets over 30 minutes here. And I think he gets more look from his little spot there in the 3-point corner.
We didn't talk about Jimmy Butler at 9,300. What do you project for him?
Again, that's why I kind of like that game. I think it's going to be more competitive. So I have a ton of interest in Jimmy. I mean, he's just been phenomenal in the playoffs. And with the game more competitive, I think he just makes for a better play. Like I hope Kyle Lowry being back potentially takes people off of him for some reason. I mean, Kyle Lowry needs like 45 minutes at his price tag for me to even consider playing him. Like,
Best case
not touching
scenario
that guy at
is
all.
Lowry's rolled in, plays about 5 minutes, and he's back in the locker room, and everyone doesn't play Butler.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that would be wild. Okay, so let's see. We got PJ, CP3. I'll do a little campaign action for myself, and then AP will let you finish this off. We left you plenty of salary.
Okay, so what's the team so far? So we got CP,
PJ, and campaign.
Let's go with Ayton.
Okay. All right. I just took him out. I'll put him right back in.
I mean, you could go Ayton or Jimmy Butler. One of those two.
All right, let's go Ayton. He's about
Which center do you feel better about, Ayton or Bam?
Actually, man, that's a good point there, because
and if you're playing Jimmy, would you pair him with Bam, or would you throw Ayton in?
You could pair him. You could do one or the other, but like Jimmy's just going to do his thing. Like, I think if I mean, think about it, like Jimmy's going to have the ball in his hand. So like I think if they are attacking, I mean, look, he had 12 assists last game. Like, so if they do want to attack, Embiid there in the paint, Jimmy's going to be, he's going to have a big say in that, trying to feed Bam. So that's tough. I think Ayton, though, because I think he's going to be lower owned than Bam tonight.
All right. So there
Joel, even if he's like hobbled or whatever, like, he's still a good defender. I mean, he's someone that's still very tough to attack. So they could try attacking him, but it might not even be the best route to go. It might just be, if they try that early and it's not successful because Joel Embiid is like actually playing up and he's well rested, it could be a disaster and it could just turn into a Jimmy game.
Yeah, and I'm a little disappointed today, AP, because like last Friday, we could definitely just fill the lineup out, and then if you don't get it, you're still good. I really think this Kyle Lowry news changes the slate. So, of course, we will be waiting to see how the guys on the final countdown are able to navigate those changes when we do finally get those news. It's the first game. Like, we have to know, right? There's no way we don't know before lock, right, AP?
Yeah, no, we'll have that news.
So
we'll have it at least 30 minutes before the game. I mean, here's how it plays out. If he's warming up out there and stuff, like, I think there's a chance he plays. It's just, it comes down to, we're not playing him, and it's a hit to everyone else. But honestly, I don't think it's like that big of a hit. It's just a hit to the rotation. They can go much deeper. So those guards that we talked about, reduce them down. But guys like Jimmy, PJ Tucker, Bam, I think they're fine. I don't think it impacts them at all.
All right, great breakdown there. But of course, to watch the final countdown, become a member of runpuresports.com, promo code get bets to become a member. Yeah.
What about, you guys have any interest in Tyrese Maxey? I mean, he's just been so much better than James Harden of late. And I think with Embiid in there, I mean, you'd think it would free him up just a little bit, but he's also become kind of, raw scoring dependent as well.
That's my worry there, is it's points or bust for him. And he plays at 1,000 miles an hour. So it's like he's rushing towards the hoop. I hate playing guys like that. He does
play.
Like, because God forbid you play him, he looks good for the first quarter. You're like, this guy's like on pace to just run me to the top of this tournament. Here he comes down the floor 100 miles an hour. There goes his ankle.
I think with all the extra attention that Joel Embiid receives when he's back in the game, it really opens it up, because now instead of just focusing on Harden,
that's a good point too, because even though they kind of focal pointed Harden on the defensive end, you could tell, I think they knew his offense wasn't what it used to be. Mm-hmm. And Maxey was going to be more of the scorer, so they had to worry about him as the scorer, and Harden is just a facilitator and setting everything up.
I personally would like, what are my numbers here? Harden's 9K, Maxey's only 7K. I mean, trying to get in that mid-tier build, I think I'd much rather have Maxey at 7K.
The Nets should have tried to find a way to get Maxey. He would have been such a good
I heard that was
pickup.
like a no-go. That whole, it's so funny. I think it was a low post I was listening to. They're like, did both teams lose that trade? Because the Sixers, right? They have to extend Harden. He's what, 33 or 34. He'll be like 38 at the end of the deal, making $60 million. If they give him that extension, that's not going to look good. He's already seeming to decline a little bit. And unlike like Chris Paul or LeBron James, it's not like this guy's really taking care of his body. I don't know if we can expect the same. I don't think he's going to be out there cooking everyone at age 37. Hopefully he proves me wrong. But could end up being bad if they don't take advantage of this title window in the next 2 years. Tyler, what's your best bet for today? Side total or prop?
Give me Suns money line. They're going up 3-0 today spread.
All right, I'm with you there. So we're allowed to take the same on a 2-game slate. We're actually, you know what? I'll give up something for tomorrow. So AP, what's your best bet today? Side total or prop?
Yeah, I finally feel very good about this one. Big T in the chat, confirming it. It's Philly, 1.5. 5-star play from our guy Big T. So you love
on
to
the
see
way
that.
to the Kentucky Derby right now.
Yeah. Man, he was on he's heating up too. He was on the Celtics and
Grizzlies for Wednesday
Grizzlies.
because he took
Grizzlies.
those title bucks. He calls them title bucks.
Yeah, I felt like such a donkey. I went against him and I didn't see the tweet.
Yeah.
Another nugget for that Philly game. Ed Malloy's reffing it. Phillies won their last 12 home games with Ed Malloy refereeing.
Interesting. And I don't really know the name Ed Malloy, so congratulations to him for not making a spectacle of himself, a la Zarba and Foster. And I'll go to Saturday, right? Because I would have taken the Suns if Tyler didn't.
Let me stop you right there. We know where you're going, spread. Give me the Bucks.
Of course. And tell me why I'm wrong. Are you on the Celtics?
No, I'm not on game 3, not when they're returning to Milwaukee, but when the Bucks are on the schedule, we know who spread's picking.
I'm playing Giannis tomorrow. I'll tell you that right now. I might put him up in my core for tomorrow. Right now, he's gonna have a big game.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how we build these lineups tomorrow. Gary Payton's out. Maybe a little more Kuminga run. I'll be interested to see if you guys have interest in ownership for him there. So there we have it. Great breakdown. We're going to be out of the way in time for everyone to watch the MLB and make sure they have actions on both sorts. Remember, that show starts at 4:45 Eastern on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. On Behind the Paywall, of course, become a member of runpuresports.com for the final countdown once we get the official Joel Embiid news. But come on, let's be honest, that's not very dramatic. We know what's going to happen there. But I think that Kyle Lowry is a true 50-50 right now. And like I said, I do think that I don't really have interest in Miami's backcourt if he does play. Or maybe it's the way to get different, right? And I'll be listening to those guys if they're telling me the values there. That's where I'll be going. But I'll be listening. You should be too. runpuresports.com, promo code Get Bets. AP, what other great content do we have this weekend?
Yeah, we got MMA, we got NASCAR this weekend. Should be a really good card. I saw that tweet. I saw the news that Oliveira he lost the
scale before he couldn't.
Yeah, man, he needs to come hang out with me, man. I've been losing weight lately, dude. Chicken.
Well, you could tell by his facial expression on the scale, and there was tweets about it too. He was using a digit scale in the back, stepped on it, said 155. It's like, I'm good. Walked out to the scale. They said 156. You've seen the confusion in his face. He had no idea what was going on. He thought he was good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is a shame, though, to lose your belt on the scale before you even get in the octagon.
Yeah,
that's brutal. But
and then if you
either way,
you could walk out and one punch the guy. You still don't get the belt back.
Yep.
God, that's crazy. Still looks like a good card, though. Going to be a ton of fun. NASCAR, as always, NBA. MLB, all the content, Showdown, PGA Showdown. Could get a nice weather edge tomorrow. Make sure you tune into the show tonight. But yeah, lots of content through the weekend.
All right. Yeah. So if you're not a member, come join us. Of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you keep watching the show, even though Tyler gave the spoiler that I'm going to pick the Bucks. Make sure you guys tune in, share it with your friends, and run pure.